everyone. We're really excited to have you here. We are thrilled to have our very first sales community event. If we have not already met, my name's Justin Martinez. I go by he, him pronouns. I am TAO's event and program coordinator. Today I also have Kara Tarano with me. She's TAO's Chief Operations Officer. In addition to the two of us, we also are joined by our wonderful co-chairs. I've had the opportunity to restructure and relaunch our sales community with these individuals. They have a wealth of knowledge and are very passionate about what they do, so I'm really excited to have you hear from them today.
Hi guys, how's it going? I'm so excited to be here. So yes, some of you guys know me, some of you don't. I'll introduce myself. So Angie Gonzalez, I actually live up here in Beaverton, and I've been in cybersecurity for over 10 years, selling, and from Fortune 100 all the way down to mom and pop organizations. A little tidbit about me is a secret, not anymore now, is I always wanted to be a flight attendant. Back in the 90s, my dad was like, you want to be a glorified waitress in the air? I said, yes, sir, I sure do. Well, that never happened. But I feel like sometimes that the path of being a flight attendant and the path of being a sales rep in cyber is kind of the same, just in the regards that genuinely I want to go to work every day and help people be secure and safe in the environment that they're in, which is kind of similar, I hope, to what they like to do as well. So, with technology sales, as you guys know, technology is changing all the time. And so how we sell that has to change as well. I love to try to teach people how to get over that stigma of being in sales, like that, used car salesman mentality. And that is just a conversation between two people or more, and learning about, what they need and what can you bring to help serve them. So that's kind of a little bit about me, and I'm excited. I hope I get to meet you guys face to face at our next social, hopefully soon. So back to you, Justin.
Thanks, Angie. Thank you for being here. Andre, I see you there. If your camera or microphone are working. Okay, no worries.
Yeah, my microphone's working. We'll see if my camera works. We've been trying to get in this thing for quite a while. I apologize for the delay here. Technology, right? So we're just introducing ourselves, I presume?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm the CEO and founder of Fundamental Fitness Labs, right? So we are a tech-enabled healthcare company. We're focused on prevention, right? And really education from that perspective, because what you need to do is out there, but how, not just teaching people what to do, but then how to get it done. So, so I've been in the sales management realm for almost 30 years, and just have enjoyed the process. I think at this point, I get most of my joy from sales, from teaching people and helping other people become successful in sales and understand, I know Angie's talked about getting over the stigma, really understanding that sales is about listening, not about talking, right? So the more you know about what your customer really actually wants by listening to them, the more you'll be able to help them get what that is. So it's a lot about questions. And so I really enjoy that process. And that's really why I'm excited about being in this group, right? To learn from others and to help those in their process really get the skills they need to be successful. So I'll leave it at there, and I'll see if I can join with video without losing you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Andre. I've already learned a lot from, all three of you, especially like how when we were communicating and going back and forth, it was like, bullet point things. It was great. We're going to get into a lot of that today. So up next, we have Paige. You want to say hello? Oh, there you go.
That is my curse right there. I do it every time. Yes, hello. My name is Paige Lakin. I work business development at AltSource Software. I am about 11 years into software and technology at this point. Got my start in marketing and PR there in the music industry in Nashville, and then got my start in technology with VMware and moved to Portland about 5 years ago. I'm loving this group. I'm loving everybody I've been meeting here, and I'm excited to keep it all going. One thing I did definitely carry over from music to technology is the importance of networking. So groups like this are amazing, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Justin is amazing, Kara is amazing, and we're all so glad that you guys are here. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Paige. I had no idea you were from Tennessee.
Originally, I grew up in California, so I think technically I would be considered a transplant, but went to Tennessee for college, and it kind of grabbed my heart there for a decade and a half, and probably couldn't have picked a better 15-year run to be in Music City for. So it was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. Cool. Well, thank you very much. Next up, we're going to go through some key bullet points about the community, what our community aim or goal is, who our community is serving, and kind of how we plan to succeed.
Yeah, so really when we talk about the aim of this group, it's about improving skills, right? And really looking at not just individual skills, but possibly organizational skills, right? Because some folks maybe are trying to build a sales team and you got to figure out how to do that, right? And so what does that look like? Also, it's about assisting folks where they're at. I mean, one of the interesting things for me about this group is going to be, what do people need, right? Because there's so much various. You have people that are startups, you have people that are in major corporations, you have folks that maybe already have a sales team, but they're trying to change it. You're having to deal with what's going on with your company rules. I mean, one of the things that Justin hinted to is that as we got into this, we started talking about marketing and sales and what's the difference and how they separate, and people try to combine them into one thing. And so if you're in a larger company and that's their focus, then that's the game you have to play, right? And so how do we help you? So I think one of the beautiful things about the folks that are, in the co-chairs is our desire and our willingness to help people where their organization is and where they are individually, if necessary, right? Because there's going to be some broad strokes, but if someone's in biotech and someone else is in, devices, they're talking about different things and having different markets, right? Because, a lot of biotech people, they're exiting to, Bayer or somebody in that, in that regard, where someone else is trying to build things for consumers. And so it's going to be exciting just to see the mix and how many things, because fundamentals are fundamentals, but then you got to figure out how to change the details. And that's our aim, is to really help in both ways. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Excellent. Thank you, Andre. Next up, we are going to have Angie going over who our community serves, who we are.
Yeah, first of all, I'm in sales, so I love people and I love those dancing icons that you have going on right now. So good job on Justin. It just kind of made you smile, right? So, all right, when we made this community, it was really important for us to dial in, like Andre was saying, kind of the aim and, who are we targeting? And, sales means different things to different people. And a lot of people have a big X on, I don't want to be in sales, but then we have everything from the BDR side, business development rep, where Paige is at, where, that's really starting out, to all the way up where, Andre's the CISO and CEOs of his company. So it's a huge gamut of people. So for us, we wanted to make sure that anyone who wants to expand their network in the technology industry within our state, they're welcome. Everyone is welcome. People that want to enhance their current or even learn new skill sets within sales, because it is about how you can do a presentation or deliver a pitch or even carry on a conversation in 30 seconds to the CISO of University of Oregon, right? You have 30 seconds to make him want to call you back. So you want to make sure to have those skill set to do that. So we're going to share, tips and best practices along the way. So we love, people in sales want to just come in and learn and grow. That's, kind of what makes us successful, as well as Andre said, listening to your customer. What do they want? What is their need? If you guys ever saw that Robots cartoon, I don't know who has kids, but they always had the comment there, find a need and fill it, and you'll be successful forever. And that's exactly how it is here. So, engaging with others, that are responsible for the sales within the tech industry is kind of what we do. But it takes a village, even in this industry. So I just want you guys to encourage you to, and kind of challenge you. We're growing this community. It will only always be as good as the people that can attend and the feedback that we're given and the participation that we have. So I encourage you guys, blast this community out. Let's get some local people in. I know we've got other organizations locally too, but let's just start getting the dialogue going, and we can, be amazing sales reps together.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie. Yeah, well said. Lastly, I'm going to cover what we're going to, or how we're going to succeed. So largely our goal is to make connections. We're going to do different professional development exercises and events, make sure that individuals have resources that help them and that we're continuing to learn together. A large part of that is going to be all of you. So it's going to be an ongoing process, as our co-chairs mentioned. We want to make sure that we're covering all of your needs, that we're addressing anything that may be missing, and it's gonna be, you know, kind of morphing because things are always ever changing. So we want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward with you. And today is going to be a big contributor to that. So today's exercise, in just a minute, we're going to break into breakout groups that are going to be led by our co-chairs, and we're going to just kind of have some group discussion over some pretty vague topics. We're going to be collecting responses and ideas, and then when you come back from your 15-minute breakout, we're going to use a mural board to continue to expand on those topics and ideas, and this is going to kind of be the framework of how we'll get the community started. The mural board is going to remain open and accessible to everybody, so you'll still be able to contribute if you have new ideas that come up later on. We're also going to share it with the sales community at large for those who were not able to attend, so they can also participate and provide feedback. And then that'll help us determine what our next move is going to be. And in addition to those, I did, before we got too far, and also want to let everybody know that we do plan on bringing on a marketing community in 2022. So there will likely be a couple of programs next year where we'll have some overlapping events on, you know, how each of those particular specialties interact and coincide with one another. I'm looking at you, Miss Rojo from Miller Nash. Okay, so anybody have any questions about the breakout? I'm about to push you in. There's going to be a 15-minute timer. It'll automatically pull you out. Welcome back. Sorry, Carrie, you got cut off, but I got the gist of what you were saying. Real quick, before I start sharing our mural and going into our next activity, I wanted to go around with our co-chairs and see if there were any like key standouts or if there were a lot of similar recommendations or requests from individuals in their group.
Yeah, I can go. I think for our group, it kept coming around to the same things, and that's networking, obviously, right? We're only as good as the team that we're working with. And then, of course, the obscurity between sales and marketing, right? And understanding kind of where those lines lie, and with other departments as well, whether that's recruiting, business development reps. So kind of just all of that in one, I think, is what came up the most. If anyone from my team knows anything different, definitely jump in.
Yeah, and for our group, I think networking again, so that was great. And then also just getting a perspective of what organizations are really dealing with. And because we have such a broad range, getting things from folks that are in the startup range, as well as all the way to very much more established companies, and really getting a picture of how sales is operating for them and what things are changing and so forth. So that was the other thing that was pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked seeing there was some general stuff I saw in there about change management effectively. Like, how do you keep up with it? What do you do? How do you respond to it? And that could be tough. Has anybody seen the Kubler-Ross scale of change and the emotions an individual or a company will go through? I'll share that with everybody in the recap email. It's very interesting. And of course, as soon as I saw it, it was something different. And I was like, no, that's not right. And like the very first one is denial. I was like, okay, well, you got me there. Okay. Paige, Kara, did y'all have anything to share from our group?
Well, I love the conversation and the points Kara was bringing up regarding the leadership involved in the sales process and as the higher ranking leaders needing to know the sales process and benefit from all things there. And then a good discussion on sales acumen and working with development and the developers and the gentle balance that exists there. So I think we came up with some areas to focus on as well.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a really, really good conversation. Okay, so this mural board we're looking at right now, y'all can see this mural board, yes? On my screen? Okay, good. As we were collecting responses in these different areas, I started plugging them into these gray cards. So we have a collection of what the different responses were. What we're going to do in our next exercise, everyone's going to have a total of 6 votes, which means you'll click on the topics that are the gray cards. You have a total of 6 clicks. Every time you click on a card that is a vote, you can use all 6 votes on a single card if you like. You can use 2 on a single card and then 4 on another card. It's totally up to you. This will help us determine which topics we're going to take as a group, and we're going to expand on them in this mind mapping chart over here. So in the chat, I added a visitor mural link. If you click on that, that'll let you come into this mural board, and let me know if you have any trouble getting into it. Here y'all are. And if you're unfamiliar with Mural, you can navigate by clicking once and dragging. You also have this little box in the far right-hand corner, and you can zoom in and out using this. Your little box will also tell you or show you where on the board you are. And then if you have a rolly on your mouse, that'll also zoom in and out for you. Okay, so I'm going to open the voting here in just a minute. I'm going to put a timer on for a minute. I'm going to turn on some music so you're not sitting there in silence. If you have any trouble with the voting, come off mute or send me a chat. Gonna give everyone 30 more seconds. Okay. Believe it or not, that was smoother than yesterday. You'll have the benefit of being the second time I've tried this out, so thank you for experimenting with new tools with me. Okay, so we're gonna take these ideas and I'm going to plug them over into our mind mapping area, which is just next to where we were. So essentially, we're going to take these topics and I'll put the big topics into the largest circle. And the kind of general idea of this exercise is, if anybody's ever done any kind of improv, it's a yes and sort of situation. So you're going to have the main big picture, and then the I'm pointing with my finger. And then these smaller circles are, yes, that's a great idea. And here's how we achieve it, or here's what we can do in addition to this. And then the smaller circles will continue to taper off from there. You're also welcome to come off mute. If you're having trouble with the board, you can tell me what ideas you have and I can add them in there for you. You can also add them to the chat. So I'm going to start with our green circle, and strategic selling is our first one. Y'all are welcome to go ahead and get started on that. Relation networking versus transactional is in purple. In orange, we have networking events, meet and greets, common pain points, and how to lead change. And lastly, in blue, we have keeping up with change. Do I have anybody who wants to volunteer to help me with my first one as an example? Yeah.
Justin, I'm not going to lie. I was multitasking and I don't know what we're doing at the moment.
Okay.
I'll try. What are we doing?
A true salesman.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. That's a salesperson because I'm like, oh, I can take 30 seconds to reply to an email where I can maybe close something.
Yeah.
So we're mind mapping. So the large circles are big picture idea. They're a topic suggestion or an idea of what we want from this community. And then the smaller circles coming out are adding on to that. So if there was a particular one of these 4 that you were interested in expanding on, I'll zoom in and I'll add a note on what your suggestion for the offshoot would be.
Okay, let me read them all, 4 of them. Okay, I like the top right one. Networking events, meet and greet, common pain points in the space, how to lead change. So growing on that, well, that's a whole bunch. I mean, as we kind of discussed in our breakout session, the networking events are all about building a community of people you can collaborate with and trust, from a personal brand level to your whatever you're selling technology-wise or company-wise. So I don't know how to put that in short bullet points, but ultimately that's what I'm always looking to get out of events like this.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think that's a good example of what an immediate offshoot would be. So if we would want to build a collaborative community that both ties in your personal branding as well as your selling, your product or your service that you're trying to provide. So what would an event like that look like? It could be as simple as a happy hour where people just get to meet each other, or an actual activity where you're doing something. So there's an icebreaker or a workshop. What would resonate, or what do you enjoy to attend most?
Definitely happy hour. I mean, for those of you that know me, that always loosens things up. And then from there, you definitely have to have coordinated conversations, some kind of structure to it. If it's a larger group, little breakout tables. So you can have a happy hour, which breaks the ice and gets everybody comfortable in talking. But then similar to the breakout sessions we did here, we can really drive conversation and open up to ideas and collaboration, asking them questions that give them input, allow them to give their opinion.
Perfect. So for networking events, we'd want to have a collaborative community tying in personal and company selling. An idea for that is happy hour. We'd want to coordinate some conversations to help break the ice. That would create some topic tables. And then at the end, of course, we'd want to know, what everybody's topics were and what we chatted about. So we could report that back out to the community. Like, these are the kinds of conversations we're having at these events, and these are the people that I'm meeting, and this is what we're doing. And that'll help drive some buzz as to, why this is an effective place to be. So I think that's a perfect example. Would anybody else like to take a stab at it? You're also welcome to not follow me. You can go in and start working on any of them yourself if you like. You just double click into the circle and you can start typing.
Justin, I want to piggyback off of what Kara said about, so if you go up to the top left, strategic selling, and if we could expand in one of those areas, strategic selling from a services perspective versus a products perspective. And I remember one of the smaller circles could be what that customer journey looks like from both spectrums. And this is just digging down, into that topic. If we can find a way to collaborate. I mean, if there's a way to do this, I don't want someone just to talk, one person to talk to a wide group. I think workshopping that, or let's see, success stories between those workshops, but I'm troubleshooting, problem solving in there as well. But
okay, sorry, that got really small. Okay, great. So strategic selling, we'd be looking at services versus products perspectives, and then what each of those customer journeys look like. And an idea to work that out or determine, from the community at large, what does this mean for you, and where do they overlap, and what kind of differences are there? We would be workshopping and collaborating on different success stories and what each of these journeys look like and what kind of problem solving was entailed in both of those, which would be, I mean, that itself could be a series. We could do, I imagine people would want to, I was going to suggest something online, but I imagine, we would want to be in person if possible. But I think that would also garner like better participation and a wider perspective with a better like buzz of people being willing to share. So yeah, I love this too.
You can erase anything I write, Justin. Edit right over it.
I'm not going to. Oh, did I overwrite you right now?
No. I'm just over here typing away. So.
Oh, good. Okay.
Mind dumping onto your color map.
I really like this keeping up with change idea. I think it's probably one of the more challenging topics to tackle, but to me, I think the initial piece, especially for the community, would be to identify what appears to be continuously changing to try and at least narrow the field down a little bit. Does anybody else have any thoughts on keeping up with change?
I think one thing that we're starting to run into is kind of re-entering some sort of normalcy, right? Like, the hybrid model of going into work has been floated back and forth, but also like, especially in business development, are you going to be meeting with clients face to face? Are you going to be meeting with them virtually? How do you, kind of find that balance and, keep your clients comfortable or your prospects comfortable? How do you meet them halfway, whatever that looks like?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to add to that too, because during the pandemic, virtual sales has ramped up intensely. And so as we come out of this, I think I don't know. I just imagine sales having a really difficult role in climbing out. I have had to unsubscribe from everything almost, and I didn't mean to, but it was just really intense for me. And so for me to look at new products or to work with new vendors, I just want to have like not a nasty taste in my mouth after this pandemic. So how do you reestablish that sales from a virtual perspective that's successful post-pandemic, I guess?
Can we elaborate on that as well, like the productivity expectations as the seller? Because I know pre-pandemic through Q1, I probably met with, I don't know, 20 members a month. And in the months following the pandemic, it was between 50 and 60. And that is an unrealistic expectation for moving forward.
Scalability.
Sorry, was that scalability?
Yeah, when Kara was just what she was discussing, it made me think of the word scalability. It was just in terms of expectations and functionality.
Yeah. Oh, this is my favorite one so far. Y'all are doing great. Any other ideas around reentry anxiety or keeping up with changes? This was a hot topic yesterday. I think it's a hot topic for everybody.
Yeah, has it like fundamentally changed our sales cycle? Like it's easier to put up a barrier on Zoom. It's not as, I don't know, Shauna and I joke that we will go one-on-one on a Zoom room and we'll talk like we are in person, but I have a relationship with Sean. Like, I don't know how comfortable I'm doing, like meeting somebody for the first time on Zoom and being like, oh, how's your family doing? And that's part of, I think, the relationship building. And so like, if people choose to stay on Zoom, are we looking at two separate sales cycle streams indefinitely, and relationship building component?
Yeah, that's a good point, Kara, honestly. And we're definitely seeing that every single day. I know that I am. And it is a lot harder because you can't read the mannerisms, right? We're all just these stiff upper bodied mannequins with bad posture most of the time. And I think that makes it hard, but when you're in person, you can read their body language, you can see their facials more clearly to really know, like, are you getting through to them? You know, are they just checked out? So I think you're right. Navigating that path is going to be interesting to see when we can. Will it always be split two rows or will it come back to one river?
Well, and what y'all said when we first started chatting as coaches with this community, like when I was asking everybody, why are you passionate about sales? What about this do you like? It was the connection. Every single person has said the connection with other people, you know, and that hasn't been as easy to do virtually. And it's painful for, you know, very social people or people who love doing things like that. So, you know, how do you do that? And how do you do it effectively and comfortably for everybody without scaring anybody? Did I cut somebody off with someone else unmuting?
Justin, I was just going to add, I think it's also re-understanding what the customer is going through and building some of those insights that you can take into your organization, whether that's redoing products or doing a different approach to selling. But I think in any sales organization, you really have to take those customer insights and understand them better than you have before. And now with coming out of the pandemic or in a hybrid model, it's going to be a different understanding of how do I approach that customer and how do I sell in a different way.
Awesome. Yeah, this is great. Any other thoughts or expansions? No one has to have an answer to any of this. That's going to be the co-chair's job later on. So feel free to come up with anything, hard questions, theoretical questions.
I think one of the things that I throw in here is just what is your competition doing? And this can be under strategic sales or under keeping up with change, because if you're competing with somebody who's got the budget to go face to face and you don't, what does that mean? What does that mean for your sales strategy? And what kind of internal selling are you going to have to do to persuade your own management to enable you to compete successfully in that situation? The other thing I throw in here is one of the ones that was brought up, I think Kara brought up, was buying personas. All that's under strategic selling umbrella in my experience. You know, the buying personas, the personal win they're looking for, as well as the business win that they're selling into their organization. So understanding all those things are critical on the strategic selling side. And also just the understanding of the organization that you're selling into, the culture, the vision of senior management, and how you can align your product and solution with that vision. Just a few thoughts.
Awesome. This is great. And that same link that's in the chat, you'll still be able to access later on. So you're welcome to mull over this. You can come in here and add different items to it later on. And our follow-up email will also provide the link back to it. So if you want a little more time to contribute to it, you're more than welcome to. We're about 1 minute away. So I wanted to quickly thank all of our co-chairs and all of our participants for being here today. This is awesome. I'm really excited to have everybody participate as much as we did today. Hopefully we'll expand on this relation networking versus transactional a little bit more. I'm going to poke some of our TAO team to come in here and add some thoughts as well. Before you go, it's always really important for us to get feedback on how we're doing, how you felt about today. So there's going to be an anonymous poll coming up on your screen. Before you drop off, if you could just take a minute to go through and score how you thought today went. There's going to be 3 basic questions: your overall experience of today, if you would recommend similar events to individuals in the future, and if it was easy to register and attend. 1 will be the lowest score and 5 will be the highest score. This will help us know if what we're doing is going well and where we can improve. There will be a follow-up email that comes out, as I've mentioned, that'll have a more in-depth survey. You're welcome to continue to take that one as well. It'll allow you to provide more specific feedback. But if you could take today's poll, that'll help us out severely. Any closing comments from our co-chairs or Kara? I'm good at putting people on the spot. Y'all should have me MC most things. I can just call on people.
You did awesome, Justin. We definitely could not navigate this community without you. You keep Andre, Paige, and I in step, and I know we all appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
Second that for sure. Yeah. This is a great conversation. I mean, there's a lot of participation from a lot of people. Obviously, being a sales group, that was expected to some degree, but it still was nice to see a lot of different folks participating and getting different ideas on the table.
Yeah, this is great. I'm excited to see what comes out of everything. So we'll have more to come. Stay tuned. We're excited to have you all with us and hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you all.
Thanks, Justin.